banks. Kakati, there is an article from Business Times UG talking about the same topic, and here Richard Byalugaba, the Executive Director Finance Bank of Uganda, was talking about the same, and he says based on the National Payment Systems Act of 2020, Section 57, it says that sente bwezibanga zimaze emyaka 7 account
tewali
claiming tewaliwo azikozesa oba ku updating account eyo oba kuzijjako and nga ne bank oba mobile money teraba kundi traces za muntu ono kubanga mulamu sente zino zijjibwawo ne ziteekebwa ku gye bayita consolidated account after 7 years.
You can imagine 7 years ng'omuntu yafadda.
Richard Byalugaba goes on to say that it is impossible for the Bank of Uganda to say that this amount is for the dead when the record of the person, when the record of the dead has not been reported. So omanyi like kubanga abasajja bangi, I think it happens mostly to men in business. Ababera ne accounts account mu different bank account
dollar account, Uganda shilling account.
Nga engeri gy'abadde adiiringamu nnyo tadisclosinga nnyo to their loved ones oba wife oba children kakati sente ezo ne zibeera eyo omuntu ono afudde tewali wamanyi naye kati nabo babeerawo mu dilemma omuntu ono yafa oba teyafa.
Naye omanyi it's really interesting is if your account has been getting 500k noyingizawo 20 million ne bazidepositingako, they respond immediately.
Auntie, that's the thing, that's where I was coming from, like the bank's response when there is
no activity going on,
no activity, and its response when there is activity. Because when there is activity, the banks respond immediately. So, I mean, you have said there are so many people, there are so many clients. I understand. So they are responding to this one Mijin who has deposited a hefty amount, but they are not responding to me, the Jin who is quiet.
Yes.
So because for me that is where I find
I think
because if you have a problem responding, because I've been depositing 100k, 20k, 50k, and then I hit my card deal and I put there my 10 million, 20 million. Then now, Jean, where have you got this money from?
Yes.
But now when I have my 10 million, you don't remember me.
Kati ekibaawo laba ebiseera ebisinga tulina okikkiriza nti okimanyi nti banks ezisinga bw'obanga obadde toli mu updating account yo teri mukola, there are those times when they will give you a call. They're like, hey, oli otya gundi.
They send messages.
No, for me they've called me a number of times sometimes. They would call you. They're like, kakati account yo ngebadde tekyagenda maaso, account yeno bw'enaaba naddala ngebadde tesigaddeko sente, bw'enaaba nga teri active egenda kugalwawo, so please you can deposit the money to show us that okyakozesa account yeno, okitegeera. So kati problem gye mmanyi ebeerawo, omuntu agenda naggulawo account, enamba gy'ateekako ey'essimu eya next of kin n'ateekako nga namba ye, another sim card. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Nenga next of kin abeera kitegedde.
Kati olwo abeera ajja kuteekako erinnya lyonna ateekeko omundi namba y'essimu, just bibye. No one should know about this account. Abantu babeera secretives in their operations. Kati bano bagenda okuddamu okuba ku masimu ku simu y'omuntu.
It's my
oba it's not response, njukira katugamba afudde. It's no response. Kakati naye one of the things I wanted to bring out, Richard Byalugaba continues to say that this money emyaka 7 bwe giyitawo, the only way you can claim for it tugambe oli wa luganda w'omuntu ono afudde, the only way you can claim for it is through the Ministry of Finance. Kati wano obeera olina okugenda n'olaga ogenda ne national ID y'omuntu ono afudde, kubanga we will assume nti bw'obanga obadde close oteekwa okubanga ne document y'obadde ogirina. Number one. Ekyokubiri, you'll have to go and give proof of relationship ekiraga nti oli related n'omuntu ono.
Like what do you give? Photos or what?
Of course.
Okay, but what I know about that incident is that omuntu bwafa, there is a process. Number one, bwaba teyalekawo will. N'agamba nti no, mukyala wange yagenda okuba ng'akwasaganya bizinesi zange oba esente zino oba yagenda okulabirira whatever. If there is no will, automatically eno case egenda wa internal affairs the administrator general.
Yes.
Nemugenda nemufuna letters of administration. Letters of administration are got by you submitting the
death certificate, by the way.
Of the deceased.
Jen.
Yes, so that process.
Death certificate, okimanyi nti by the way this is something kyetutetera kupayingako attention most of the times. Naye nga our dear viewer wetaaga okumanya nti if you lose anyone wetaaga okufuna your death certificate. Wetaaga okugenda mu ddwaliro naddala omuntu oyo singa actually ensonga lwaki it's recommended nti singa oluzinga omwagalwa yenna oba omuntu yenna singa afa olina okumutwala mu ddwaliro ne bakola postmortem report. So after the postmortem bwe bakola postmortem ne bawaawo report awo ne bakwissuingira death certificate. Kaakati ebiseera ebisinga death certificate eno tugibuusa amaaso era tutya n'okutwala omuntu singa omuntu aba afiiridde wakati ntugamba already afudde lwaki tuba tumutwala mu ddwaliro. Naye kaakati bw'otamutwala mu ddwaliro ne bakola postmortem kigenda kuba kizibu okwissuinga the certificate. Kaakati meanwhile probably osobola naye it takes a lot.
You may not get it that same day.
Chichiba bagenda bakutwala through a lot of bureaucracy to prove. To prove.
And so that's why you're supposed to take the body, so they do the postmortem.
Nemuzika buzezi kubanga kakati gwe bwona agenda n'ogamba nti twagala kushuinga death certificate omuntu ono singa aba teyafudde ng'oli mu kumuwaayiriza buwaayiriza. You get so obeera olina okufuna and by the way tukibuusa nnyo amaaso ebiseera ebisinga naye wano wofuniramu issues nga tugambe omugenzi ono abadde alina properties oba omuntu ono abadde alina omugabo gwateekeddwa okufuna tugambe muli baana omuntu ono abadde alina omugabo gwateekeddwa okufuna ku at a certain property bajja kubabuuza death certificate y'omuntu ono eriwa kati bwe muba temugirina you cut out. So kati ne mu claiming sente zino you have to olina okulagayo death certificate olina okulagayo national ID y'omuntu ono afudde kyekiraga nti ddala oli connected naye. Kakati n'ekirala ku sente zino eza mobile money it said obeera olina okugenda with the same ku gundi ku mobile money ku the telecom company offices n'obabuulira nti omuntu wange yafudde national ID eno this is the proof of relationship and the certificate here and they will process the money and give it to you.
But you see also here Business Times Uganda made a report on 5th September 2023 ngegamba nti when a mobile money account remains dormant for 15 months the telecommunications company initiates a process to transfer the money that account to Bank of Uganda. It is a Bank of Uganda, and this action is effected when the account holder is no longer actively using their mobile money due to reasons such as death and relocation to another country. Now those are some of the things that would cause your money to be transferred. So just in case you didn't know, but I want to believe 15 months is like 1 year and 3 months. Yeah. Omuntu ayinza okulanga ebbanga ettini naye ddene.
Liba ddene ya.
Nze ndaba libeera ddene limala. 15 months. Until you can use that time to claim if
That
you've
is
lost
1
someone.
year and,
3 months. 1 year and 3 months.
But we also want to highlight to our dear viewer, I'm sorry, I want to highlight to our dear viewer that actually sente zino zisobola okubeera processed era nezikuddizibwa bw'obanga owaddeyo ebiraga okusinziira ku Mr. Richard Byalogaba. He says they have given out 300 million in the last 2 years nga bacollectinga billioni zaali nkaaga mu mwenda 69 billion shillings ze bacollectinga from these accounts as a cent ezitali claimed.
Which year was that?
From the year 2023, yes. And
because still in the same year they
yes.
had collected 69 billion
69 billion and
that had been collected from telecom companies on dormant mobile money accounts. And how many did they pay back?
They have paid so far 300 million. 300 million. But now in the year 2027, it's going to, that money was claimed. The government is syndicate to a consolidated fund.
Hey.
Maybe what we should let our people know is exactly what we are talking about, that oyino kubanga omanyi. Number one, the details of your
person.
Yeah.
Kubanga obuzibu bwetubeera nabo buliti fine ba consolidation fund eyina kati 3 billion bakagabako 300 million.
Yes.
Kashagera, there is always a reason why this money is stuck there. Number one, spouses. If you are opening an account,
Vanity.
Okimanyi nti there are very many spouses, there are very many families and marriages ng'omukyala ng'omwami nga teyeesiga mukyala we n'akamu era nga tasobola kudisclosinga nti I have money here and there.
Which is okay. Kubanga spouses these days ebintu byatukamuko abakyala basigaliza bwakuzaala because man omusajja bwakulabamu ekintu ekyokukwata mu nsawo nobba n'oteeka mu nsawo tajja kwesiga, meaning obadde ng'omulaga signs ez'okubba.
Naye era waliyo n'abakyala era abateesiga their men. You know a lady who was she had money, built houses, ng'ate omwami amuggyako rent n'abateeka mu nnyumba ye and then
basenguka we baali bapangisa ne bagenda mu nnyumba endala eri beta kati omwami n'atandika okusasulanga rent naye nga omukyala ye yanoonya ennyumba ekitegedde
anoonyeza like amubeerako namugamba sebo landlord ayagala
sente.
Now you realize that it includes property and money.
Kakati kwegamba bw'ogwa ku mukyala ng'oyo tasobola
mwesigisa gonde
naye ndooza naye ayina ensonga
naye kati olaba
abeera n'ensonga ze naye nga waayi oba okitegeera enda we tetujja
webagamba akasente k'ekikazi sokolindako nokyembuuza ki kino nti akasente k'ekikazi kano ke kagenda mu banki eri abasajja gye batamanyi. Because wagamba akasente k'ekikazi, that means you're not going to disclose how much. Definitely if you don't want to disclose, I want to believe it's not at home.
Akikazi
okutte mu nsawo eno
n'oteeka wali
kubanga omwana bw'alwala omwami bw'aba taliiwo era ojja zikwata zinaako ekikazi osasulire omwana.
If they cannot, if some ladies Gambia, but then I know the lady who can't even move a penny to take her child to hospital because she believes it's her husband's responsibility.
Oh, wow.
And for that case, she can't even pay for light. We are now on light. She can't even pay for light because it's the man's responsibility. Abela mu photocopy chichi, but they have the money. Now, if they cannot disclose the little meaty details, can they disclose the money?
Ate akati Jean.
You cannot honestly sit in the dark.
N'abaana babikola abakyala bajja
kakati olaba obuzibu, that is where the problem is. Nti kati omuntu ng'oyo akuŋŋaanya ssente bw'atyo tazidisclosing to anyone kasente kake omwana ne bw'aba alwadde ye akasente ke takakwatako. Omuntu oyo n'agenda afuna abrupt death, n'agenda n'afuna accident. Kakati ezo ssente zogenda okuwulira after 7 years genda kubeera moved to a consolidated fund.
But usually the truth comes out because you could find when such a person has disclosed to one of her family members.
That is what I was going to say.
Yeah.
That instead of, I understand. Now, you have issues. Talk to Susan,
your sister. True.
Talk to Susan, your best friend.
Naye okimanyi nti
next of kin.
Okimanyi nti abantu abo ebiseera ebisinga Jane, abantu bwe bati ebiseera ebisinga eba just trust issue, nti talina gwe yeesigana kasente ke, nti kizibu nnyo. Kakati olaba alemeddwa ku disclosing, kale probably ayinza obuta disclosingira mwami, naye omuntu agaana okutwala omwana mu ddwaliro olw'okuba takwata ku ssente ye, agaana okusasula amasanyalaze, kiba kizibu nnyo omuntu oyo okudisclosinga even to a sister or another person.
Well, our dear viewers, today we are talking about that money that families lose because number one, they may not know, they are not in the know. Secondly, they have not been, disclosed to, yes, they don't know. But families lose a lot of money simply because they have lost their loved ones and they do not even know how to claim for this money. But are you aware of your spouse's bank details? Do you know their PIN number? Are you able to access this money just in case, peradventure, you wake up and one day your spouse is not on this earth and yet you need to take children to school, for example. You need to facilitate for rent. You need to do stuff around you. Are you able to, to get or acquire this money? We are going to be talking about the causes, all the reasons why these things could be happening. But before we even go there, let us get to know or understand the process of you being able to access this money. We had briefly talked about it. If you lose a loved one, you've lost a sister, a brother, a father, a mother, a best friend, and by the way, even if there is a will, you definitely need to go to the Administrator General and start the process of acquiring letters of administration. Because ono omuntu ayinza okuba nga yawandiika my best friend Jean yagenda okulabirira my
estate.
Now that word okujjako nga family y'oyo omuntu eri in agreement of which you don't also want to assume.
Awo nno wetwetagira ddala okuhighlighting nti gwe omuntu alaba oba family member gw'okubeera ne will oba ekiraamo eky'omuntu oyo abeera afudde tekigarantinga absolute ownership and responsibility, kubanga it's very possible okubanga ekiraamo ekyo gwe wakyewandiikira. Osobola okubanga ekiraamo ekyo osobola okubanga gwe ekiraamo gwakifoojinze. How do we prove that ye gwe ekiraamo ky'olina kyekye rightful? We have witnessed a number of burials and oba kunyimbe those family meetings where omuntu amaze okufa abantu basatu ne bajja n'ebiraamo bisatu byonna nga byanjawulo nga buli omu ku bo aclaiminga biriko signature y'omugenzi.
is very possible. But also, we have to let our people know. Until now, administrator, siteka ntino ya inokubera omusika. These are very two different things.
True.
So kakati administrator yono omuntu asobola
okuddukanya ebisigadde
accessinga zino sente with the letters of administration. Ate zino letters of administration tomala gazifuna era mugenda mu mawulire ne babalanga
gazette,
you must gazette. Ne mugenda ne babalanga muteeka mu New Vision, mu Bukende,
Daily Monitor,
gazette, all those papers. Ne muteekayo for I think a period of 7 days or 14 days, something.
Working days.
Then after that, if there is no objection, ngate muddayo, the administrator general is a barua zifulumya. That is how now you are able to go and access this money. Ate bwe mugenda ne mu accessing as in a set. It is not until mugenda ne bakwata account eyo ne bagiteeka mu administrator's name. No. Bagamba the estate of the late Chris Mukesima, his account number, this and this, in this bank. Kakati eyo bank account, baba bachita the estate of the late so and so.
So naye bera etwalibwanga estate.
Bera bagirira mu estate ye.
Okay.
So kati tebagamba kino sente zonna baziteeke ku administrators account.
Administrator ayinza okubulawo.
Zisigalako ya account just in case non-administrator afuna obuzibu. Era muddayo mu process yemu ne mufuna letters of administration ne mufuna administrator omulala naye ng'eyo estate ekoze eki esigaddewo. And I saw it is very important kubanga kati we mu closing that bank account muyinza okuba nti no oyo omuntu yali for example tanafuna NSSF. NSSF naye esasula ku
account yeyo.
Ate nezino eza gratuity era nazo government.
Jane, I think you need to highlight a bit on gratuity so that our viewer may understand.
Kati wabeerayo zino sente ntino obadde to saving na NSSF naye obadde saving ng'okolera government.
Kati people like in the army abalina wazalendo.
Abo police. Anyway, public servants not serve
within NSSF.
Okay.
Because for them, they have their own retirement packages.
Okay.
So that is how now when you pass, that money is paid on this account. So ebyo byonna bibeera very important for a person avunaanyizibwa oba next of kin oba administrator okutegeera. Otherwise, that is how that money will go and go to the consolidated fund. Naye ate n'ekirala wemufuna letters of administration. It is also, nga so bwe yagambye, telecom companies have so many clients. Kakati mwe mutegedde omuntu wamwe agenze. Get those letters of administration. Mubadde mukimanyi ayina MTN ne Airtel. Go to these companies and claim.
Neela waliwo bu documents obwetaagisa.
And those are the documents still.
National ID. Now can you imagine at that moment a national ID is very important. How we've been telling people to get national IDs. It's extremely important. Remember one time someone told me that otambula otya nga toyina national ID. Like toyina bikwogerako. People don't know who you are. No tambula. Now it's that important because it identifies who you are and it goes as far as in case anything happens to you now, your people are going to need this national ID to claim this money. And that's now the least detail. Kubanga wano byarangelage na maso nagamba duka offices obagamba omuntu bwati abadde ne mobile money accounts bweziti afudde okiraba kigenda kukuyambako okufuna all the money that you need. Well, if you get all the administration things that Jean was talking about, But it looks like something very small, but it's very, very necessary. Yeah.
But again, as a person, you always need to know that anything can happen. As you live your life daily, anything can happen. In case everything, something happens, family yo abantu bo ogenda kubale kootya. That's why bwako n'omuntu gwe weesiga gw'osobola okudisclosing ebintu bino. Just in case anything happens. Kubanga there is a way, by the way, we're living in presumption, and ngo olinga agamba nti tewaliwo kikyamu kigenda kubeerawo. Okitegeera. Kale maybe, let's say, oyinza okubanga probably tofudde wabula ng'ofunye akabenje nga tokyasobola kutambula kugenda kujjayo ssente ezo, probably tokyasobola kwogera naye ate nga weetaaga okufuna obujjanjabi. If you don't disclose such details to one of your people, olowooza banaakuyamba batya, okitegeera, healthcare and all these things.
And
so
recently, like life is really unpredictable. Recently, I lost a relative to an accident, and lately the first thing we look at is the password. Abantu abateka those
patterns.
The patterns, the strong passwords in your phones.
Nateka password.
Bulichimu WhatsApp ina. Now, not even the wife knew what to do.
Wow.
And the only person who had access to these things was his little girl, who is, I think, 6 years old. Kubanga bebatera okuzanyirako ku simu. Agamba buza gundi mwana muto naye surely is that. Do you want to tell us Toina no mugo trusting? Recently, I have a loved one who got a mini stroke. A mini stroke takes 24 hours. A mini stroke, you lose your speech. Things stop coordinating, like tosobola kwogera. Now, guess what? You see your people need money to take you to hospital. But you can't even tell them.
I have money here.
Checking a mobile account yange pin yenu. You can't even write. It's that serious. Now, can you just get somebody that you trust? Sigamba mwana mto. Ate nadala bana batuli okumpi. Oba kale oba tuba trusting. Funo omuntu gwe bamanyi in case we need something or we want to know something about this money. Let's call this person.
But increasingly, abantu bafuuse bazibu nnyo ku kintu ekikwatagana ne ssente. Abantu bazibuwala. So bambi omuntu agana okudisclosing olumu, you can give it a benefit of doubt kubanga.
But now I think it puts everyone in danger because we have seen over time that the issue of trust tulabye abantu nga babavuga mu kagaali ne babatwala mu banks okusayininga sente naye ng'aliko oxygen naye nali ndabyeko omukadde bamuleese
ng'aliko oxygen
ewabaloya asayininge
naye n'abaana abakulu
ayi be bamuleese ng'agamba nze sigenda kwogera okujjako nga ndi mu maaso ga loya.
Oyo kakati probably ayinza okuba nga yafunamu red flags somewhere n'agamba
red flag
omuntu abeera amanyi abantu be
abantu bobeera obamanyi
kakati wakiri mwenna mubifiirwe right.
But you've seen this thing even in the US where you see people they have worked for this money. Nagama, actually I'm not leaving an inheritance for any of you. I'm going to give it to charity. Like, so it's not just only here in Uganda. Even outside countries. If it's a trust issue, then it's a big issue. Very many people are struggling with that.
Ochimanyi nti Jane, I'll give you an example. I grew up with my grandmother, but I saw probably someone has died on the village, and ogenda okulaba ng'ali mu kuvaayo n'ekyapa ali mu kuvaayo n'eddabe n'agenda baba bakyali mulumbe n'awanika omukono, and she was LC secretary. So she's like omuntu ono abadde yandekera ekintu kino bwekiti ne bwekiti ne bwekiti era n'agamba singa aba afudde nkikwate nkiwe omuntu bw'ati ne bw'ati. Kitegeeza ki? Tosobola kubulwayo muntu asobola kwesigika. Yes, tosobola kubulwayo muntu gw'oyinza kwesiga okuwa oba okubuulira details zino singa ekintu kyonna kikubaako. It's wisdom okubanga weetegeka anytime because something can happen. kakati magezi okubanga weetegeka okujjako nga abantu bogenda okuleka emabega tolina gwofaako oba tolina mwana muto gwe weeraliikirirako but bwobanga olina omwana gwe weeraliikirirako gwotya nti bannange bwe nva ku nsi omwana nga agenda kubeera atya then funayo omuntu gw'osobola okwesiga and reveal such details to them.
You know, that has reminded me of some gentleman who told us that daddy wawe yafa, but the dad I think had hit a deal. Nakwata sente naziteka in a sack. Nazitereka oba yasima somewhere naziteka edda abaana ne babonabona n'obwavu. This one time as they're making their cleanings and what, they fall on this sack of money and it had been eaten. Ng'abaana babonye sente zonna ziriiribwa. That's what we call damage money. Now, guess what? You can get back this money if you take it to Bank of Uganda, but I think it depends on how bad it has been damaged. Now, all that is ignorance. Abana babonye, you guys, nga babonye.
But now, where it even becomes worse, nga sente ezo za old currency eri. Okitegeera?
You know, getting to that point of where, yes, I understand the trust issues and all. Nayekati still. And by the way, I think we should get someone from, you know, NIRA or URSB to tell us the importance of having a dame.
A will.
A will. Because people think that when you make a will, you're going to die tomorrow. But in that will, can there be passwords also? Such that people can access. Yes, you don't trust, but now you're gone.
Singali balijiddwa. We need to highlight I think there are some of the financial institutions here where Josobola Ogenda notereka even such sensitive documents.
And you know, for me, that is where I was coming from, because we have seen, and I know for a fact that there are people that keep their treasures in banks.
Yeah.
Gold, land titles, especially those that are of high value. They keep them there. Now, this person passes. And you are not hearing from such a person, yet you have their valuables. So you wait for me.
And katigondi issue ebeerawo nti olumu bayinza abali eno bayinza okulinda gondi zino
kati bank webabanga omuntu nkwesize nembagamba nti no bino ebintu kambiterese wano bwenaabanga ngenze. These are going to help my.
Nayela, if you're specifying that
a regular client, a client mulungi. Why don't you disclose to the family?
But you see, it's up to you still. Ogenda. Okay, this is what I want to believe. If I go ahead to that organization that you're talking about, I should be in position of twalayo muntu wango mulala next of kin, just to tell them, in case anything ever happens to me, come here, because Jen, let me tell you, sigwa weka ateleseyo ochitegera, and you might delay because maybe you are sick. An incident happened recently. I lost a relative, and the kids had to call everybody. Do you know Mommy's lawyer? Do you know Mommy's lawyer? Do you know Bali Mubanga?
Did you know that bank? Did you know?
Yes, the mother didn't disclose anything. Shokabaina a lot of assets. Now, bigenda bino ebintu okuleta enkayana, because if there is no arrangement, if people don't know any procedure to follow, bagenda misusing, bagenda.
There was another person that I also knew. Yali yawuddeko ku family, like kale yali oba yafunyemu obutakwatagana ne family ye. N'agenda n'azimba apartments somewhere in Bweyogerere. Ku apartments kuno n'akufunako unit emu mwe yali asula. Kati ku apartments okwo yalinako omukozi caretaker, omukyala eyali amulabirira era ne mu biseera bwe yalwalira. Yalwala akabanga kaali katono nnyo naye caretaker ono ye yaliwo. You know what happens? Guy bwafa caretaker took over the things.
What?
Because
Yes.
there is no structure.
It's time to be paid.
But I also know there are people that have taken this very seriously. There is a family I know, the father trusts the older daughter. Era yamutwala mu bank n'agamba bank ono ta withdrawing nga sente zisuka mu 10 million 10. Era ekyo kye kiwandiike
Kiri written.
bank. Ne bw'aba ng'agenza oba badaba kuba ye signatory naye oba bank has that order. Nti no nze bwe mba nga siriiwo ono muwala
Temumukkirizanga kujyayo sente zisuka ku withdrawing sente zisuka million 10.
Ekitegeeza taataye agenza okulaba teriyo kizibu nnyo kiri agent kireeta withdrawing 100 million shillings.
Ne bw'aba ng'afudde. But anyway, all these are things that
we should put into consideration.
People should put into consideration and to know that it is very possible to have a loved one and you lose everything.
Okimanyi nti waliyo abantu increasingly ennaku zino abantu batya okubateeka in such institutions as next of kin.
Right.
Okimanyi?
Why?
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because gundi assumption eri nti omuntu ono singa abaako kyakola ekitali kirungi oba singa atekinga loan jukira bw'obeerayo nga next of kin omuntu ono whether ataddeko sente you are liable kati ne bw'aba nga afunye loan afunye loan gundi bw'abulawo it's still the next of kin. I remember there was someone who put me in their bank account as the next of kin, and this someone goes ahead to get a salary loan. Now when they took the salary loan, hey, things started happening. Guy is living his life. Time ya payment etuuka. Actually what happened, omuntu ono n'agobebwa ku mulimo we yafunira salary loan. Kati bw'agobebwa jukira bana ab'oku mulimo bamugobye kati banka efunamu disconnection awo tesobola kufuna muntu ono lwaki agobeddwa ku mulimo ate salary eno gundi salary eno yagifunira at this particular workplace kakati awe wali obuzibu mbandi eyo nga batandika okunkubira amasimu nti munnange tubadde tusaba oyitireko wano ku banka twagala kwogerako naawe ku nsonga za mwami gundi nebanemerako before I knew it they were plotting to put me to arrest me. If they arrest me, then I'll be able to get the other person. So it's also the fear that most of the people recently have with being put as next of kin.
But do you know that when someone is putting you as the next of kin, they may not even consult you?
Are you sure?
Yeah, there are those that do that, and nga just kati tugambe Jean mukwano gwange. Why? Can't take a Jean. Ngalinda olunaku probably lwalowooza nti probably obulamu bwe buli mu threat oba probably teyawulira bulungi akugambe nti nno munnange nno nakuteekayo nga next of kin. And remember by the way you might not even get that chance. Yes.
Okay, sija kugamba nti mujoga, but don't do that. People do it, don't.
And if you look trustworthy, people will do that to you.
Nedda.
Your friends.
When you want somebody to be next of kin, you don't do that.
My next of kin.
Somebody do not take away number yo, not take away erinnya lyo, not take away nejobera. Nagamba Jean abeera wano abayizo ga relative.
Nze mutegeere nti mbeera Kiwologoma sijja kuddamu baga.
Totabikkiriza. But it's not right.
These are things, and by the way, people have lost a lot of money in, these kind of things, simply because we have trust issues. Spouses don't trust their spouses, friends don't trust their friends, families don't trust their families, siblings don't trust each other.
Oliyanga mambo oyonza mmanyi kubya sente tampa. We don't connect. I laughed. I was like, your brother?
Yeah.
Amanyi when njogera ku sente tampa.
Your last shots, Stuart.
Dear viewer, in wetaaga omanye nti actually gwe eyalosing omuntu wo, you have the right to go claim for funds bw'obanga okimanyi nti there were some funds eyali alina, so long as oyina details tujja kuzidamu tuzimentioning national ID y'omuntu oyo yafa, oyina okufuna death certificate, oyina okufuna proof of relationship, bwe kiba nga kigenze wala nnyo you need to go to the office of the Administrator General, is it? Administrator General, then ku internal affairs ojja kubanga osobola okugenda mu process eyo ey'okugyayo ssente ezo. Ekirala ssente zino bw'oba nga wayisewo emyaka egyo omusanvu, ssente ne ziteebwa ku consolidated fund eya Bank of Uganda, still okyalina right eddayo ku Ministry of Finance n'oclaiminga ssente zino. So you have every right. Ekirala gwe mukwano gwaffe atulaba ng'okimanyi nti you have any possessions in your ownership, anything can happen to you. Ate naddala ng'oyina family, oyina abaana, oyina omukyala, please and please try to find someone you can trust and disclose these details just in case something happens. Of course you're not going to die today or tomorrow, but in case something worse happens, oyinza okulwala and yo oli handicapped nga tosobola kubaako kintu kyokola nga sobo yatugambye, please and please funayo omuntu oyo gwe disclosing la details eziri important bwe zityo, or you can put them in a bank and let someone know that I have things in the bank. Oyinza obutamuwa access naye n'akimanyako nti olina ebintu mu bank, so that in case something happens your loved ones will have somewhere to start from. Yes, that's my closing remarks.
So you have any closing remarks?
Maybe what I would say is that try to find someone that you can trust. It may not be your relative, and I want to believe wachali abantu
abesigika.
Yeah.
Well,
Bosobola okwesiga, and you can trust them with your things.
yeah, that is very true, and I hope that today you got something out of, you know, the discussion that we have given you today, so that, you know, it helps you to claim and also not to lose out on your loved ones' properties, especially the monies, because in most cases you need this money, you need to use it as a family, because there is continuity, there is, you know, a legacy to keep, there is an estate to take care of, their children of the deceased that you need to take care of. So it's very important for you to have this information. Thank you so much for keeping it the sunrise today morning, and we are excited that you have been here with us. I want to believe that you are going to have a beautiful day. That's the end of today's sunrise show, and it is a goodbye.